let's go to little Miss Nancy Pelosi, who somehow what?
Let's check this out here. Didn't we have a TV person who used to cook, took a tip from somebody, and
Martha Stewart.
Yeah, she made what,
Martha
$230,000 off of that trade.
I admire her kitchen setup. She's got a very nice.
She went to jail for what, 2 years?
Yes.
And she wound up doing
Insider
a year.
trading. Yes.
All right. That is Martha Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And that was one trade. She got information and they came down on her with a ton of bricks. And now we have people in our government outperforming the market by 60+%. Are you fucking kidding me?
My guess is Martha Stewart refused to eat the baby at the blood ceremony.
You're probably right.
Or something similar
there is
of that.
There is a Twitter account called Unusual Whales. I've been following him for shit pretty much ever since I've been on Twitter.
That's a good day to her.
And, probably, but that account discloses trading information. Doesn't it? Again, it's not a financial advice or anything like that. It's just said, hey, take a look at these stocks that these politicians are trading, and hey, look at what their percentages were when they got done trading.
What's that called again?
Unusual Whales.
Oh.
You will know the account because it is a cartoon whale that is blowing money out of its blowhole.
And that's on Twitter?
That is on Twitter.
I'll have to check that out. All right.
Yep.
Thanks for that information.
Cartoon whale blowing money out of its blowhole.
No.
So it's the Federal Reserve.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly.
I
Actually, that account gives a lot better information than the Federal Reserve. So they're better than the Federal Reserve.
Right now in this economy, I would never, ever, ever, ever do it because I think our economy is about to go straight up the shitter. But I have often considered turning my intelligence analysis skills on the stock market by watching the subcontractors for
why don't you and I talk about something like that offline?
Yeah,
because that we can make that happen.
It's
people
labor intensive.
I know,
really labor intensive.
I know,
but you can see moves being made by watching the subcontractors.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to know how to identify them, and it just so happens that I know where some of the moving parts are. Anyway, so back to this other whale over here. Nancy Pelosi outperformed every hedge fund in 2023, up 65%. Congressional trading has been a hot button issue for a very long time. It's something that the Market Rebellion co-founder John Najarian has called out many times before in an interview with the Wealthion platform. There are a lot of folks out there who follow whatever politicians do. There are entire services that are basically formed so you can trade what Nancy Pelosi is trading. And it's not just Democrats or Republicans that do this. It's anybody that holds office in the United States, believe it or not, folks. These people trade on the information they get from committees all of the time. That is the pinnacle height of insider trading.
Yeah.
Now, for a sitting member of Congress to outperform every single hedge fund,
look at that,
is you have a better chance of winning the Powerball while Heidi Klum sits on your face and you get struck by lightning.
Like Whale Rock long only, they're at 59.3.
Yeah.
So like literally she outdid them by 5%.
Yes.
And listen, you got to understand, because I worked in
tell them what a hedge fund is. What is a hedge fund?
Well, I worked in investment banking. A hedge fund, it's basically they manage people's equity, and a lot of them, they have their own different missions of what they actually are supposed to focus on and what have you: energy, food, entertainment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're like, okay, well, that sounds good. You look at their past performance. And you're like, okay, that looks good. I'm going to put $100,000 in said hedge fund. They take that money and they divvy it up between the stocks or whatever that they focus on. And then you get the return every year on that $100,000 that you put in there. Now, I didn't know anything about, Whale Rock long only, because I would send some money there because I could use a 50% return every goddamn year.
Right.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I might look into that now.
I mean, when I was doing swing trading, I was lucky to get 11% per year.
Wasn't your ex-wife doing swing trading?
Well, she was
Allegedly?
allegedly, yeah.
Sorry about that. That was just right there.
No,
It was,
you're right.
it was just right. So also, I worked corporate law on a very large scale back in 2006, 2007, when I worked at an LA firm and saw a lot of this. These hedge funds are hundreds of Excel spreadsheet squirrels. And all they do is sit there and crunch numbers. And some of these guys commit suicide because they can't take it anymore.
And here's another thing. BlackRock is a huge hedge fund.
Yes.
And they're literally using retirement money from all across the United States and various other countries to push communism. They're weaponizing your retirement savings against you to turn you into a slave. Eat bugs, own nothing, and be happy.
Remember when I mentioned the Chinese Entrepreneur Club earlier on?
Yes.
In the context of corruption and insider trading, Citadel is in the list of the Chinese Entrepreneur Club. They have tentacles in it. I don't know if they own it outright, but I know they're connected to that. I'm looking at this list here. I recognize some of these names, but I can't tell you with certainty whether they're connected. However, all paled in comparison to Nancy Pelosi, who put up an eye-watering 65% gain in 2023. How on earth did she even do that? Outperforming even the NASDAQ, which posted its best year in over 2 decades. According to Quiver, Pelosi filed at least 20 trades in 2023, including a recent trade filed in December of 2023 on NVIDIA called Leaps at the $120 strike expiring in December of 2024, worth millions. What's a strike? Do you know?
I'm not sure. I think that's to do with options.
Okay,
it's a leap. It's a modified form of an option. I did mess with that stuff. I mess with leaps. I mess with options in covered calls.
Nothing about that. That's math.
It's math. I know, but a leap is basically it's a combination of 3 or 4 industries put together.
Basically, Nancy Pelosi leveraged her power to do insider trading. We all know she's
listen, there, and here's the thing is all you really got to do is follow the money.
Yeah.
You look at her portfolio year per year, see what her returns were, and then you find out what stocks she owned, and then you compare it to what bills or laws were being worked on in that fiscal year. And it's just that easy. I mean, those forensic auditors that work for the FBI and the IRS, they are fucking good. And there's no way if they actually put that microscope up her ass that she's going to come away clean. If they do it honestly without any funny business.
Because not getting killed.
That is impossible.
Yes. It is absolutely impossible.
All right.
So okay, did I share that? My brain is there. We go. Yes. Congress massively outperformed stock market again. This is from January of this year as well. The U.S. Congress once again outperformed the stock market in 2023, according to new analysis by financial platform Unusual Whales.
Ah, yeah.
Jimmy, there you have it.
Unusual.
There you go.
There you have it. In a rare display of bipartisanship, members from both sides of the political oil had political oil. My Freudian slip is showing. The political aisle had bumper years, including familiar names such as Nancy Pelosi and Susan Collins, who outperformed the market by 41.7% and 30.7% respectively. It's the 3rd year running that Congress has now beat the market. Biggest standout was Democrat New York Representative Brian Higgins, who saw the highest returns out of both houses, beating the market by 214 fucking percent.
Oh my God!
I'm sorry. How many percent?
214. Yeah.
Jesus.
That's like
Christ.
That's early Bitcoin money right there. Wow.
And seeing approximately double the return rate of the runner-up. Higgins has a background in finance and large holdings in NVIDIA, a stock which Pelosi's husband has also been controversially invested. The portfolios of the Democratic members of Congress outperformed the market by about 10% on an average in 2023. Okay, I've read enough of this.
Listen, this is hogwash. We know this is, look, it's a feeding frenzy up there in our upper levels of government. And both sides of the aisle are all feeding on the carcass, which is the American people.
Here's the elephant we're not talking about. Lobbyists. What's happening here, most likely, I can't tell you with 110% certainty. I honestly can't. But what I believe is happening here is lobbyists go to these members of Congress and they say, anytime we're going to make a major move, you'll be the first to know if you pass these regulations which bolster our business, whatever it may be. Chips, farming, oil, trading, shipping, you name it. But the lobbyists go to these members of Congress and say,
yep,
I'll make you rich. Just pass my bill.
There you go.
The oil barons, the railroad barons, they all did this. That's how they got so wealthy, and they got all of the contracts that they got from the United States government when we were laying rail across the entire United States of America. There were only 2 rail companies.
Yes. Now, listen, I'm not saying that, the United States was, devoid of all corruption back in the day, because that would be a huge fat fucking lie.
That would be
the only thing is now it's much easier to do, because you get a phone call on a number that's not registered to you, because you can get a burner phone. Oh yeah. You pick up your computer, log in, buy the stock. There you go.
Here's the thing. There was corruption. Okay, we know there's,
because we're evil hairless monkeys. There's always going to be corruption.
Tammany in New York in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Stealing the vote. Okay, we know about a certain level of corruption. It's even written into the Declaration of Independence. We will tolerate a certain level of corruption in order to maintain the peace.
Yes.
And that went on quite nicely for quite some time, all the way up into the early 1980s. But then they got comfortable, and now what's happening is these Bolsheviks are using their power. They don't care anymore, because now they believe they rule you. Right now, they believe they rule you. Okay, the ATF is about to pass a law, I don't know if you know about this, that makes it a felony, a federal felony, if I was to sell you a firearm.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Watch Grunt Speak live every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to join Pop for Supporter Sundays, go to redonkulous.com/donate and make a monthly pledge. A link is in the Meat Gazer box.